Hi, everybody. My name is Taylor, and today I'll be presenting advice and strategy on how to tackle the QuestBridge essays and writings. But I'll be focusing on the biographical essay, which is the longer essay format in the QuestBridge application. And I just wanted to update my original advice and strategy video from 2020, as that one was just a podcast format and just had sound in it. And I sort of wanted to give a presentation that was more interactive. So before we begin, I was going to start with some background. I currently live in Aurora, Colorado, and before that, I lived in the Philippines for 5 years before transferring in my junior year of high school. I matched in 2020, and I matched to the University of Notre Dame, which is a QuestBridge partner school, and I'm going to be entering my sophomore year soon, in just a few weeks. And I'm majoring in chemical engineering. In high school, I did HOSA, which is the Health Occupation Students of America, which sort of prepares students for the health fields. Even though I'm in chemical engineering, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I also did junior ROTC, and I was the news writer for our school newspaper, and I was part of NHS. A few of my hobbies include chess, piano, and reading. And my favorite quote is, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve." And that's by Napoleon Hill, who's an entrepreneur. Now for an introduction. So what is QuestBridge? And I've copied a sort of quote from the QuestBridge website to explain what it's all about. QuestBridge is a powerful platform that connects the nation's brightest students from low-income backgrounds with leading institutions of higher education and further opportunities. We are an aggregator of excellence. By facilitating these exchanges, QuestBridge aims to increase the percentage of talented low-income students attending the nation's best universities and the ranks of national leadership itself. So that's just a way of saying that QuestBridge is interested in tapping into the talents of low-income students and giving them an opportunity to attend phenomenal institutions of higher education, as many students from those backgrounds, including myself, didn't realize that it was sort of possible because obviously money is an issue, and so QuestBridge facilitates that exchange. So why did I make this video? I am of the philosophy that a lot of planning should go into writing, especially since the biographical essay deals with your life story. It's important to understand and develop this operational framework of how you want to approach planning and writing this essay. Who is this video for? Again, this is for students who are thinking about QuestBridge and thinking about already writing and starting their application, but also some of these strategies can be applied to any sort of scholarship or application essay. When should I start doing essay prep? I think especially for the QuestBridge essays which highlight your life, essay prep can take on various forms, from sort of like annotating or jotting down ideas to thinking about what you did during high school and writing that out. Who should read over my essays? So it's advisable to not have so many people read it, and also you want to have at least like maybe 2 or 3 people read it, because you don't want to dilute your voice. Again, this is a biographical essay, and so it's about you. So the best person to ask about your life story is yourself. So I would suggest asking just like a few trusted people who really know your voice or your style, and listen to them, but also listen to them critically and think about it critically about what you want to include, cut out. And obviously you want to copy edit it very thoroughly. Mistakes and typos, it's almost inexcusable in this day and age because, again, you have like Grammarly and writing programs, so you want to definitely eschew mistakes and typos. Why is the theory important? Again, it's sort of because it's your life story, it's you want to be able to frame it properly. And so I'll talk a little later about how you want to approach including your life story into your essay. And lastly, how big a part is the essay in college admissions? And for me, at least how I view it, it's an extremely big part because QuestBridge already attracts so many academically gifted and successful students that I think the battles are won over essays because they show the readers your nature, your personality, and how you're able to bring out the potential of your story. And so it highlights a part that can't be shown through numbers or standardized test scores. And so because it tells the readers who you are as a person, I think it's an extremely large part of the college admissions process. And so before I get into the main points of the presentation, I just wanted to, this will be linked in the description, but this is a sample essay that I thought that was very insightful on how you want to think about writing essays. And the citation reads, this is a college essay submitted by a student who now attends Northwestern University. This student is a Quest Scholar at Northwestern. This student was awarded a full ride scholarship. As you read this QuestBridge scholarship essay example, think about your own personal experiences and what you could write about if you are eligible for this scholarship. And so I'll link this in the description, but I'll be referencing this in one of the main concepts. So now we can dive into the 5 main concepts, and these 5 main concepts are to give you like an idea of how you want to approach the essay and how you want to think about the essay going forward. So first, the common thread. And so you want to choose this common thread before you start. So the QuestBridge application has sort of 2 shorter essays and the longer biographical essay, but it also has the short sections and like maybe 1 or 2 sentence parts of it. And so the common thread is going to be what brings your application together. It holds your application together. And how I viewed my application, my thing was learning takes place outside of the classroom. And so even from the smaller bits of writing to my biographical essay, I tried to highlight that. So you want to have like this theme that, again, threads together your whole application. And so my advice to you would be to write it out and to review it often. So whenever you are editing or already reviewing your pieces of writing, say to yourself, how does this fit into my narrative? How does this fit into my common thread? And so again, everything should be sewn together. So it should be almost as seamless as you can make it. And you want it to make sense. You know, it needs to be coherent. And so I would suggest taking this a broad stroke when you make a common thread. But as you make that sort of broad theme, you want to be specific about what you place into that theme. And this is, I would say, obviously, thesis statement is what brings an essay together. But I will say the common thread is sort of like application thesis. So it's the unifying idea. It's the big idea that brings your whole application together. And this could be sort of like being your own adult, or how you've matured, or sort of like a key lesson that you've learned throughout your life. And again, this should reflect your nature and story. You don't want your common thread to be totally different. Again, the QuestBridge people are getting you. They'll accept you for being you. And so if you make a common thread that isn't you, then how will they know they're accepting the right person if you're not yourself? And lastly, this should be, again, markedly yours, but relatable. So you want to have something that's unique to you, but its lessons should be sort of universal, and people should be able to relate to it. And so I'll talk about how to make it in a sort of tone that allows you to reach your audience. But again, the reader is a human being. And so in order for them to find interest in your essay, you wanted to have some sort of relatability to where you're at in your life. even though your story is your own. So the second main concept is answer the prompt. And this is so simple, right? Answer the prompt. But I think as we sort of dive into making this essay shine or copy editing it, you might lose track of what the prompt is trying to get out of you. And so this will come hand in hand with your planning. So I would suggest, I was never an outline person, but as I've gone on in my academic career, I've realized that even jotting down like bullet points, like simple bullet points, and how you want to structure your paragraphs and what ideas you want to place in those paragraphs and what ideas you want to put in your introduction and closing, I think that's really insightful and beneficial to your writing process. And it sort of gets a lot off your mind. And so if you can transfer it from your mind to paper, you're not trying to like adjust and organize them all in your mind where ideas might get lost. And sometimes you'll have like a great idea, but you'll forget it because you don't write it out. And so at this portion of the presentation, I'm going to read the QuestBridge biographical essay prompt and talk about sort of what it's trying to get at. All right, so the prompt says, we are interested in learning more about you and the context in which you have grown up, formed your aspirations, and accomplished your academic successes. Please describe the factors and challenges that have most shaped your personal life and aspirations. How have these factors helped you to grow? So again, right, that's sort of a long prompt. It's not so linear. It asks you to describe your life and like your academic successes and the factors and influences that have come together and shaped those. So I think what I did and what was helpful for me is that I broke the prompt down into its various parts. And so when you break it down, you're able to address it properly. So I would suggest maybe opening a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document and having those different parts and just throwing ideas out there, throwing bullet points and putting your ideas down underneath the different categories. So that way, if you've addressed those sort of ideas that you've settled on, then you know that you've answered the prompt. And we'll talk about how to sort of focus on your word management later on. But answering the prompt is very important because you don't want to have this whole creative essay and not answer the prompt. You know, that's very counterintuitive and it'll be more confusing for the reader. Next, understand the QuestBridge ideals and vision. And this can be found on their website and obviously things you can find online, videos and blogs. And I'll link the QuestBridge website down in the description, but questbridge.org is their site. And if you click on the far right, like about section, they'll have like their mission, vision, and ideals. And my approach was that if I focused on those things and hinted to them, maybe not, you know, you don't want to put their whole mission and vision onto your essay because that's sort of conspicuous, but you want to hint to it. You know, they're trying to get low-income, high-achieving students into the best schools. And so you're trying to paint a picture of the low-income, high-achieving student you are. And you're trying to bring that out and give flavor to it in your essay. And so you want to try to match your essay to the ideals and vision of QuestBridge. Lastly, again, the prompt is broad. You've seen that. I've read it. The prompt is broad and it tries to tackle everything. But the reason why is that they want to give you free range and let your creativity shine. But that's not. You don't want to answer broadly. You want to have specificity. You want to have certain events in your life, certain things that you can point to, hey, I learned this from that. I learned A from X. So you don't want to be like so broad as it's so like philosophical or something like that. But you want to be specific in how you address the prompt. Like sort of essays you've written in school. There's if you're writing for like a research essay or an argumentative essay, you have certain points and like facts and evidence that you bring out. This one will be more of like emotional life story evidence that has to be specific, but again, don't be too broad, and don't be sort of up in the air and all around with it. So the next main concept is the Goldilocks concept, and this will tie in greatly and with the last concept. Because again, your words are limited resource. You're not given like an open book here. You're given, I think, 800 words and different word limits for the essay. And so it goes without saying that you don't include every second of your life, because that's going to be way past the word limit. And my advice is focus on 2 to 3 key moments that guide you. You know, those key moments that inspire you to go forward. Why are you applying to QuestBridge? And what has brought you here, you know? And imagine those sort of like 2 to 3 key moments. If you have like a timeline that's like a thin thread, those are going to be like large beads, like things that have changed your perspective or have informed you. And this could be like maybe like performances in school or things you've done in the community, or these big sort of like blocks that have built who you are. And again, since this is a biographical essay, you want to include little itty bitty parts of your life. But again, don't focus on like so many things that you get lost in your life story, but 2 to 3 key moments, but frame it in the context of your life. So I think the best way to do this is a narrative. So again, like, oh, where did it start? Obviously, you don't start like, I was born. You want to start at a good place where you're starting off. Maybe if you're an immigrant, you just came to America, or if you're someplace, then you can talk about where you grew up. But you want to, again, focus on key moments that have shaped and informed how you think. Again, and the next point is about transitions and smoothness. You don't want it to be choppy, like you're describing this moment and then all of a sudden you're here. You want to have it smooth, and that makes it easier for the reader. The easier you can make it for the reader to follow your story while imparting like pearls of wisdom to them about your life, the better. And again, you want your essay to highlight how your life informed your thinking. And this shows maturity in writing. And maturity can be, I'd call it self-adulting. I remember listening to a QuestBridge podcast and how this person who ended up at UPenn approached it. She took care of her siblings while her parents were working and cooked for them. And this sort of maturity, this becoming your own adult early and being wiser than your years, is what the QuestBridge people really, really like, because it shows you that it shows them, that you're not some like, you know, regular student that's going through your schooling and just applying to colleges willy-nilly, but you have something that other students don't. And so you want to share, again, that comes with your own story. And that's being truthful to your story and owning it. You know, every story is different. And being able to highlight your differences and where you come from and sharing that with your QuestBridge reader is what it's all about. And that's what they really like. Okay, so this next point is being positive. And so the reason why I include this is because obviously I'm sure that for people who are listening to this and people applying to QuestBridge, there can be moments in your life where you've been challenged or even hurt. And there are huge obstacles that you've overcome to this, to be applying to QuestBridge and to have come to this point. And even though those parts of your story might be dimmer, might be darker, I really want to stress that you want to be positive in your essay. Because these QuestBridge readers are reading so many essays they're reading so many essays, and they are humans too, and so they feel that positivity that shines through. And so you want to keep a generally positive tone. Of course, there will be times where you've been challenged, but even if you're challenged and like hurt, you want to focus on what you've learned. It's focusing on what you've learned for those moments that make your essay stand out. because it also shows maturity. It says, hey, I've gone through these tough times, but I've also learned so many things from them, and I want to share that with you. And here I'll reference the essay, the sample essay, because the writer's mother, if you've read it, she suffered from multiple sclerosis, and obviously that's such a hard thing to overcome. But the reader focused on the lesson, what he learned, and that's about how, the strongest people power through it, and how complaining won't get you anywhere, and how he's learned to overcome. And I think that shows a great amount of maturity, and that's why I think he ended up being matched, because he really brought that through the maturity through his essay. And so, end with a tone of hope, looking forward. If you accept me, what can you look forward to, and what I think will I do with my QuestBridge Match Scholarship? What will be the outcome of you accepting me, right? That ending with a tone of hope. And again, maturity shows courage. Being able to be wiser than your years and pulling through and overcoming adversity really strikes a good chord with the QuestBridge readers. Next is intellectual spark, and this will be, I believe, the last main concept. And the intellectual spark is it's sort of hard. That's why I said it's a certain je ne sais quoi, and a je ne sais quoi is an undescribable quality. It's the wow factor. It's again, you don't want to be like, hey, I achieved this, I achieved this, I achieved that, I achieved that. You don't want to be like that. It's not. They've already seen your application. They know what you've done. They know what you've accomplished. But the intellectual spark, I'm calling it, it's a hallmark of ingenious creativity. It's something that shows a bit of genius, a bit of like artistic sort of reasoning, and this could be, it come through in different ways. It could be like how you set up your essay. It's unique or something. It has a unique theme. And so I think the reason why the QuestBridge readers want to see this intellectual spark is that there's more to how you view things, right? And that comes with, again, describing how you've overcome adversity, the deeper lessons that you've learned. And so the intellectual spark is what will bring you, it will bring you out and like show that you're on the top of your game and you're not like the others. And so it's being able to see the in-between, like how has education, not only in the classroom, but as part of the outer experience of your world, shape you. Education can happen beyond the four corners of the classroom. And so being able to see that and being able to describe in your essay, I think shows an intellectual spark that will just it will make your essay pop. And the whole point of this is to make your reader take interest in you. It's to make your reader, you want to be memorable. You want to have your essay stand out. And so lastly, I'll finish this by saying that the best words match your voice. You don't want to be the walking thesaurus that just like plugs in Googled words into your essay. It needs to match your voice. Obviously, it would be nice if you had these nice words, and but the nice words have to fit. You can't just like force them into your essay because it's gonna read that way. And so heart is what it's all about. You want to have heart in your essay. You want to show that you're passionate about what you do. You're passionate about the education. You're passionate about helping others. And how will this QuestBridge scholarship, how will this education at this nice institution help you bring your story to others, help them develop their own stories? And I think that ends it for those 5 main points. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and I'll be taking feedback in the comments, but thank you again so much for listening, and hopefully you write your best QuestBridge essay, and I'm glad to be of any help to you.